Okay.
What is the chronology of the anointings of Yeshua's feet spoken in Matthew 26, 6 and 7, Mark, Luke, and John? How many different occasions occurred?
Okay.
Because it looks like more than one.
Okay. Yes, there is more than one here. And so when we have this particular incident, we have this on page, I made a note on here, page 220 in your chronological Gospels. Because, again, people who are not aware of the chronology seem to link things together, and this is, similar things they make identical, and identical things they make similar sometimes just because of the wording in the English language. And so when we take a look at this, we see that it is on page 220, page 220, yep. And this is note number 18. This is note number 18 goes back to, this is a parenthetical statement recalling the anointing of oil in Bethany. And it gives us a note to go back to incident number 160. So when we go back to incident number 160, here we should find that, not too far back here, because it's right at the beginning of Yeshua's week, the end of his 60th week. And we have, it says, Miriam anoints Yeshua's head and feet at supper in Shimon's house in Bethany. And we are given exactly the time of this, that this takes place. It tells us in John chapter 12, verse 1, 6 days before Passover, Yeshua approached Bet Tianah, where Lazarus lived. This was the same man who had died and whom Yeshua had raised from the dead. And then the next one, there in Bet Tianah, they made a supper. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those who reclined at the table with them. And Miriam took a pound of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Yeshua and wiped his feet with her hair. Now, they're asking, is this the same thing that we have in Luke chapter 7? We go to Luke chapter 7, and this is all the way back on week 25, where we're in week 63 now. We go back to week 25, and we're going to take a look at incident number 76. And here, Yeshua has supper with a Pharisee named Shimon. And an unnamed woman washes Yeshua's feet with tears and anoints them with oil. This happens in week 25. This is between Shavuot and Yom Teruah. It's in the summertime. And this woman washes his feet with her tears, with a tear bottle that had been saved up, and then anoints them with oil. This is a completely different event. Now here is where it becomes very important. We go back to incident 160. John gives us the timing of this event, and it is immediately after Yeshua enters in Beit Tianah, the house of early figs, and it is there at supper, and that is when she anoints his feet with oil. Now, Matthew and Mark do not report it at that time. Matthew and Mark report it and it is written just before incident number 179, where Yehudas agrees to betray Yeshua for the slave price of 30 pieces of silver. And this is why they put it in this part of their narrative, because the incident of her anointing his feet with very expensive ointment, Judas is the one that stands up against it and says, this should have been sold and the money given to the poor. And it says, this spake he, not because he cared anything for the poor, but because he was a thief, and he bore or stole that which was in the bag or the common purse of the disciples. And that is the reward of iniquity, what he was stealing, that he bought the parcel of land with, that he eventually hung himself on. Why do they put it here? Because it is put right here so that we see the reason why he is going out to betray Yeshua for the slave price of 30 pieces of silver, because he's getting more money. He's a thief. And that is why it's put there. But the actual event took place just before his triumphal entry, which is going to transpire the next morning on Shabbat. Remember, the triumphal entry, there is no such thing as Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday is complete fiction. It was on the Shabbat that year, the 10th day of the month of the Aviv.